Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're taking a look at the SR-2 PDW. Now, I must admit that this is a pretty popular PDW from Naval Strike that I just never got around to unlocking until just recently. Part of the reason it took so long is because you need to get 20 boat kills, and as I don't tend to play Naval Strike or Paracel Storm that often, I didn't unlock it naturally in the course of normal play. It's not a hard assignment, but in general I just don't like assignments, and I wasn't really that keen on spending a few rounds exclusively shooting up boats just to unlock a PDW. I've actually been pretty surprised at how good it is since I started using it though, and now that I have a few hundred kills with the gun, I definitely say that it's one of the better PDWs in game. There's quite a few other guns in the class which come close to its damage output, but I think the SR-2 edges above them all because it's slightly more controllable. But anyway, let's take a look at its stats and figure out just how it works. The SR-2 fires at a reasonably fast 900 RPM and deals 26 damage out to 10 meters, which drops off to its minimum damage of 12.1 at 60 meters. This means that at close range it's basically hitting as hard as the highest DPS ARs and carbines, but at extreme ranges it's going to be doing a lot less damage. As far as PDWs go though, the SR-2 has a very similar DPS to the MX4, MPX and MP7, but like I said earlier, it's a little easier to control. It has a vertical recoil of 0.29 and a horizontal pull of 0.45 to both the left and the right. It also has a decent first shot recoil multiplier of 2.3, which is better than nearly all of the other PDWs. This makes it a very good candidate for microbursting, which is essential if you ever hope to take out targets at mid to long range with a high RPM PDW. Microbursting and letting the gun settle between shots helps to reduce the effect of recoil and spread increase, which is a big issue for a PDW like the SR-2, which only has a standing ADS of 0.4. Even though the SR-2 may be able to handle mid-range targets a little bit better than other PDWs, it's important to remember though that it's still not even close to being as effective as an AR or carbine at this range. This gun is much better suited for close range targets, which makes it ideal for TDM and domination servers. It makes up for its pretty terrible standing ADS with a moving ADS of 0.8 and a base hipfire of 1. It also has an integral vert grip, which is probably one of the most useful grips for a PDW and makes it even better for firing on the move or from the hip. The biggest problem with this gun in close quarters is that it reloads fairly slowly, taking 2.6 seconds to reload with a bullet still in the chamber, and a frustrating 3.5 seconds from empty. Fortunately though, it has a standard 31 round capacity, so you won't be reloading quite as often as you would with say an AS FAL or the MPX. So the question is the SR-2 worth using? Well, I guess that depends on whether you like PDWs to begin with. I'm the kind of player who likes to play the mid-range game, so if I can find a PDW that works well at longer ranges, then I don't have too much issue using it. The PDWR is a good example of a PDW that is almost as good as a carbine at mid-range, but it's about the only gun in the category that comes close and probably the only PDW I come back to on a regular basis. The SR-2 is a good gun as far as PDWs go and definitely one of my favourites in the category, but in 10 out of 10 games, if I had the choice, I'd run with a carbine over the SR-2. I actually ran with this gun quite a bit in Conquest and I did okay with it, but a lot of that had to do with how I was positioning myself rather than actually doing whatever my team needed me to do. If you like PDWs though, and you play a lot of TDM or domination, I can see why you might like the SR-2. At the end of the day though, whether or not a gun is worth using has got a lot more to do with your own playstyle and the map that you're playing on rather than its stats, so everyone is bound to have a different opinion on just about every gun. But anyway, to finish up this video, what attachments work best with the SR-2? Well, as this weapon is suited for close quarters, like always the suppressor is probably the best barrel attachment for this gun. Staying off the minimap in close quarters plays a big part in keeping you alive and keeping those kill streaks going. The SR-2 already has a pretty terrible muzzle velocity of 310 meters per second, so adding a suppressor isn't going to drastically affect it, but just bear in mind that it is going to make an already bad stat even worse. If for some reason you can't handle a gun with a slow bullet speed, well, you probably should think about running with a different gun to begin with, because the SR-2 is definitely not for you. As for the rest of the attachments on this gun, a one-time sight like the Cobra is more than enough, and fortunately this is one of the first unlocks for the SR-2. It's got an integral vert grip, so you can't change that, and the last thing that I'd add is probably a laser to make its hip fire even better. With this set of attachments, you should be able to almost use this weapon in hip fire only, and with a suppressor on a TDM server, it shouldn't be too much trouble to go on some long stealthy kill streaks. So anyway, if you are a fan of PDWs and you haven't already tried out this gun, then go grab a javelin or an attack boat and start shooting up some boats. If you don't like PDWs in general though, don't feel like you need to unlock this gun because although it's not a bad one, there's a lot of other guns just like it. But anyway, what do you think about the SR-2 and the PDWs in BF4 in general? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and as always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below, and until next time, see you later, and have a good one.